Up next, a new universal basic income experiment using cryptocurrency is underway in New York, where 160 young adults are being given $12,000 each, no strings attached, paid straight into their blockchain wallet as part of a guaranteed income study by Coinbase. What would we do without Brian Armstrong? What I'm unclear of on this story is why cryptocurrency is significant versus just giving them cash. Like, what's the intent that they're going for? I don't think the state and Coinbase are trying to fund people with self sovereignty. But Tony, what's your take?
I don't know. I guess they're trying to get you used to a digital wallet, the concept of using, crypto rather than, the legacy system. But this is a great stimulus check from Coinbase. Anyone with half a brain would dump this shitcoin and buy, real money, Bitcoin in self-custody, and thank Coinbase for their generational wealth later. But it's interesting that they're doing this, and 12,000 is not a small number either. So I'm not really sure what their end game is. But for anyone receiving this, staying with this money is not the smart decision. Swap it for real sound money in your full control. That's the way forward.
Yeah, I'm not optimistic that people are buying Bitcoin and then using the difference to hire the Bitcoin way to take self custody with this 12 grand. But maybe I'm thinking we're getting a lot of flat screen TVs, bags of fentanyl, and who knows what else. Greer, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm curious on the details of this. Do they expect these 162 people to take this 12 grand and buy meme coins, or is it to start using Tether or USDC as a digital dollar at various retail locations, or do they just send it to their fiat bank account and spend it on snacks? I think this is one of those ideas where it sounds really great. Let's give people free money, but ultimately this is not what makes a man wealthy, unless you smash by and get your more than 0.1 Bitcoin. I think that's the only silver lining that could possibly be the outcome. But I think the odds of any of these, it's probably less than one person out of 160 that will buy 12 grand worth of Bitcoin and then wait 4 or 5 years.
Well, don't forget Zcash, right? The hot new privacy commodity on the block. Don't do that, guys. Buy Bitcoin if you're one of the 160 people listening. So Vanguard has now capitulated. They're allowing clients to access cryptocurrency ETFs and funds starting tomorrow, which I think is today. I think the story broke yesterday. Everyone bends the knee eventually. Their CEO, I can't remember, was he fired or did he? Okay, yeah. So he said sort of over his dead body, and he's out. So now they want to make money again, I guess. Tony, exciting news. Do you care?
One by one, they all fall down, man. They all bend the knee because it's a high demand. They're going to be forced to cater to their clients. I don't think people realize how big this is. I mean, I don't really care about these institutions. It really make no difference in my life. But these guys hold they unlock a lot of capital. So if you have, a lot of their clients, eventually finding their way into Bitcoin, even though it's through an ETF initially, this is going to cause a lot of movement, especially for the number go up dorks. This is going to make them very, very happy. But again, the end game is not to stay in this. The ETFs are nothing in your life is going to change because you're still holding that same worthless toilet paper at the end of the day. Now, if they allow in-kind redemptions, and enough people understand that the way to win in Bitcoin is to own the asset directly, that's a whole different conversation. And I'm hoping, given enough time, not too long, a lot of big money will start moving in that direction.
The timing couldn't be better. Now you have the chance to buy the dip if you are a Vanguard client. Greer, what's your take?
Yeah, if you can't beat them, join them. And I think, Vanguard, probably for the truth is that they're looking at the fees that BlackRock has been able to generate from its ETF. That has to be the only reason. They know they're leaving money on the table. They don't care about Bitcoin. Yes, their clients may have been asking for it, but they've been asking for it for years. And I think, now that we've seen, the ETFs have a very good year, strong year, 2 years in selling the product. The fees are what are drawing these institutional players. And I think what it means for the average person is that Bitcoin continues to be more scarce. Yes, the ETFs will have outflows like we saw recently this past week. So that gives you a chance to buy Bitcoin on the cheap. But it means that there is a demand partner that is not going to go away. I mean, where is Bitcoin going to be 10 years from now after these ETFs? I think that the end game for Bitcoin accumulation is coming closer and faster than we want. And this is just another signpost on that road.
Well said. Alrighty, guys. Last, this is just in. Italy's Prime Minister Meloni pushes to take possession of the nation's $300 billion of gold from the European Central Bank. We were looking this up. So, what did we say? The ECB is based in Frankfurt, I think, Germany. And my big skepticism here is, do they have $300 billion worth of gold that they could give to Italy if they wanted it? Tony, do you think she gets their gold back?
Well, man, if she accomplishes this is very good news. I mean, the more bad news that hits the ECB, the better, the more good news it is for Europe in general. I see a lot of pushback from European countries against the EU, the ECB in general, and to me, it's very bullish. I don't foresee the EU lasting, for the next 5 years, and I'm praying, a lot more European countries break away from that, regain their own sovereignty, and start building, their countries back up after being infected and decimated for so many years by this thieving cartel.
I think the real power play here would be if they can recover their gold and take custody of it, and then swap it for Bitcoin. That would be amazing. Although I'm not a fan of strategic Bitcoin reserves. Don't care, but it would be the best thing for her country. I hope she's able to do it. Greer, what do you think? She getting her gold?
Maybe she'll revive the Roman Empire. I think that, if it would take them years to be able to audit and then transport the gold back to Italy. But yeah, think about being able to repatriate your gold and what that would do to your own economy and your own sovereignty. So I think that, I cheer her on. I hope it happens. But again, I think that the ECB is going to do everything they can to prevent this, to slow it down, and to give them the security assurances that the gold is still there. So, as Bitcoiners say, verify, do not trust. I would probably hire Danny Ocean from Ocean's 11 and have his team break into the vault and secure it and drive it back to Rome. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, hey, by the way, one important point to make here is that it will take a long time for them to audit and understand what they actually have, if they're even able to get it back. If this was Bitcoin, if the central banks operated on a Bitcoin standard, which would be obviously a miracle, it could be delivered overnight. In 10 minutes you could have all of your gold and the entire value of your reserve. So for the gold bugs out there who are listening, skeptical of Bitcoin, it's a pretty big deal in a global digital economy. So maybe you need to start thinking about Bitcoin, buy some just in case it catches on.